Before we get into specific grammar patterns or words that are unique to Busan, I think it's important to go over some general pronunciation guidelines. And the first one that I'll talk about is something I call the lazy tongue rule. And the simplest way to illustrate that is by starting with a sentence that has the same meaning in Seoul and Busan Korean, and we'll look at the pronunciation difference between the two. So first, in Seoul Korean, the sentence is 다른 걸 보여줄까? 다른 걸 보여줄까? Which means in English, should I show you something else? Or shall I show you something else? Now in Busan, this sentence might be pronounced like this.
딴 거 보여줄까? 딴 거 보여줄까?
So that's 딴 거 보여줄까? So note the difference between 다른 걸 보여줄까 and 딴 거 보여줄까. Besides the intonation, there's in the Busan version, the lier consonants, the backwards S consonants, are essentially not pronounced. They're missing. And that's because of what I call the lazy tongue rule. So if you notice, when you pronounce that example in Seoul Korean, 다른 걸 보여줄까? Every time there's a lier, your tongue is touching the roof of your mouth. Your tongue's moving around inside your mouth. Now if you imagine, or if you actually do it, if you depress your tongue with your finger and try to repeat that example with the same Seoul pronunciation, 다른 걸 보여줄까? 다른 걸 보여줄까? 다른 걸 보여줄까? What I hope you notice is that you can't pronounce a proper lier sound. You can't form that sound because you can't touch your tongue to the roof of your mouth. So that's an example of how Busanians relax the tongue or let the tongue just be lazy. So let's take a look at a second example. This time in Seoul Korean, the example is 형님 아닙니까? 형님 아닙니까? Which means in English, isn't that big brother, or isn't that your brother? 형님 아닙니까? Now in Busan, this example might be pronounced as follows.
형님 아닙니까? 형님 아닙니까?
So note the difference between 형님 아닙니까 and 형님 아닙니까? 형님 아닙니까? So if we look at that second word, 아닙니까? In 서울말, it's 아닙니까? In Busan말, 아닙니까? So the nian consonant in this case is silent because nian requires touching the tongue to the roof of the mouth. 아닙니까? 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 Whereas in Busan, 아닙니까? 아닙니까? You don't have to make that extra effort, whatever effort that requires to touch your tongue to the roof of your mouth. So remember to keep your tongue relaxed. Remember that that's what Busanians are doing. They're relaxing the tongue. It's a bit lazier pronunciation, but oftentimes you'll see that those lier and nian consonants are not pronounced because of this lazy tongue rule. So that's it for this first lesson. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one.